Welcome back. So, the April Fool's event in Enlisted has been out for a little while now. I'm sure that anybody who's been interested in playing it has probably had ample opportunity to log in and play it. So, let's talk about it and what I think of it, and of course, all of you let me know what you think of it. So, traditionally, Gaijin in War Thunder and Darkflow in Enlisted usually make what's to me pretty interesting April Fool's events. Some of them are misses, but most of them are hits. Um, I think my favorite thus far for Enlisted has been the Mecha one that we had, but I don't know, the modern one was pretty cool too. I don't know, I think like diesel punk mechs are just cool. I don't know. I know that it wasn't the greatest thing ever, though. Like, I think that the rewards from it are usually pretty iffy, and I think that that comes through again with Operation Leadstorm. So, I mean, Operation Leadstorm, it has its positives, right? If you have the battle pass, then there's some pretty cool rewards in there. You can get tomahawks, you can get machetes, you can get sawed-off shotguns, you can get Winchester rifles, Mass 38s. It's a whole slew of stuff, trench clubs, but I think the problem therein, well, it's twofold, right? One is that a lot of the weapons just are kind of meme weapons, which makes sense because it's April Fool's, so I don't really want to detract that from them. But I think the main problem is that all of them are either for America or they're for Germany. And some of them thematically fit really well with America, right? Like the Winchester 1866 Yellow Boy. I mean, it makes sense. It is very much so an American rifle. Same with the Tomahawk. If that went to anybody other than America, I'd be kind of surprised. But I do feel like the machetes could have very easily gone to Japan. They're not really like a major descript thing from America, used around the world, and Japan didn't get anything. Same with Russia. And I don't know what you would have given them. I mean, you could have given them the Trench Club, but I feel like the Trench Club is more synonymous with the Germans. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a club. Like, I don't think anybody would have, like, lost any tears over it going to the Russians instead. Beyond that, there's a handful of, I don't know, pictures, portraits, ones that you can earn from playing matches that aren't tied to the Battle Pass, and ones that are in the Battle Pass. Um, they're all characters that are part of the event. They're fine. It is what it is. Um, my buddy's a big fan of the guy with the pot on his head because he reminds him of The Rock. I like the colander guy because it's dumb and I like how dumb it is. Now, for the game mode itself, I uploaded the other day the first few games that my friend Josh and I played. We do like sync drops so that we matchmake at the same time, we get in the same game, and then we can kind of compete against each other. Sometimes I win, sometimes he wins. I feel like he beats me more than I beat him. And sometimes we run into a random guy. Actually, a lot of the... I shouldn't say a lot of the time, but it's probably an even, like, 1/3 split between Josh winning, me winning, and some random guy winning. Maybe a little bit more in Josh's favor. I mean, he does pretty well in these 1v1 game modes. Or I guess 1v5 or 6 or whatever. However many people we have. The game mode itself is pretty fun, but you can also just tell from the experience in match that there are probably people that are getting tired of it that are just trying to get through it. Just based on the number of AFKs or people, I don't know, like hitting walls and corners or whatever. There's usually like one or two that either feel like they're a bot or they seem like they're just playing enough to stay in the game. people that'll be on the pistol sword the whole time. Beyond that, usually the top handful of people are pretty fun to play with. It's pretty competitive. Each map really does bring its own separate challenges and flavor to it. I think my favorite map is probably Rejev. It just feels the best to me. I think that the spawns on that feel a little bit better than some of the others. I think the spread and the, like, limited verticality that it has feel pretty good. I think the complete opposite is the Burma map. So, the Burma map I don't dislike, but the matches on it tend to take a while, and I feel like there are times where I just don't see anybody, either because everybody's fighting in the backyard, or everybody's on a rooftop, or whatever. Plus, you're sound whoring like I feel like I do sometimes. Sometimes on that map it just sounds like there's people everywhere around you because there's like 1 or 2 people running above you. Again, this isn't to say it's a bad map, just that if I had to avoid one of the maps, that would probably be the one that I avoid. Yeah. I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's a really cool map outside of this game mode, though. And I think it's a pretty map to be on. And it certainly is different. Then, I guess at odds to both of them, Tunisia is the most chaotic. I feel like it's the smallest map. It's just constant fighting, constant chaos, really quick games there. I'd probably rate it right above the Burma map, but, those are probably my bottom 2, with Rejev being my top one. The one at the house in Normandy, that's probably my number 2. It's got a little bit of chaos in the basement, but people can be outside, they can be on the first floor, on the second floor. And it kind of spaces people out a little bit, but it makes it so that there's almost a variety of areas, as terrain, I guess, for each weapon. So, like, if you've got the shotgun, or the flamethrower, or the club, you can do really well in the basement. Or if you've got the rifle, you can do really well on the second floor, or even the third floor, depending, because they have longer sight lines and they're a little bit more open. And then that ends up putting the other French map right in the middle, the one in the industrial sector. Sometimes I feel like the spawns on that one are really scuffed. Like, I've had people spawn, like, right on top of me in there. I've sat there and spawned in the same location, like, 3 or 4 times back to back. It does have verticality, but it's not wide open. It's not fighting over a street the way that Burma is. But I usually have a pretty good time on that one. So, all things considered, how does this stack up against previous events? Like I said, I think every time that they've run one of these events, the, like, match-to-match rewards just have not felt adequate. Usually there's some sort of reward track that you work towards, or a series of rewards where you just need enough score, or whatever. Like, they've had this in various different formats. But what's been true every single time that they've run this is the individual matches just never feel like they're worth doing. So, this time around, per player feedback, they implemented the chests that would drop from your first 3 games. So you get 1 for the first game, 2 for the second, 3 for the third. And I've seen some okay rewards come out of it. I've seen a lot of trash rewards come out of it. It's kind of to be expected with these boxes. And so it makes it feel like it's worth doing your first 3 games. The problem is it doesn't feel like it's worth playing this event at all after that. And you can grind the battle pass by just playing matches over and over again, but my experience, whether I've been playing with my buddy Josh or my buddy Ice, has been we get on, we play our 3 matches, and then we're done. Every once in a while, we'll do like a 4th match if we need it for the 40 minutes. Some days we just haven't even completed the 3rd challenge for the 40 minutes. We're still pretty much on track to complete the whole battle pass, so it is what it is. I think that they should have tied silver to it. Even if it was, like, Josh, for example, said 1,000 silver, I feel like it should be based on match duration, and it should start at 1,000, but if you have a long match, maybe it should be a little bit more. Um, I don't know, because, like, even though I have everything researched for, like, America, Germany, Russia, right? There's still soldiers I have to outfit. There's still a lot of stuff in the tech trees that, because I just don't see the value in it, I've never spent the silver on. I mean, I'm sitting on, like, 200,000 silver, so I could get all of this stuff, but I think it would feel more rewarding getting, like, a silver stipend from every match. Now, compared to the modern event, the mech event, and the first implementation of zombies, how does it stack up? Well, obviously we saw zombies come back, so that was extremely popular. I feel like I played it 3 or 4 times, and then I didn't touch it again. I definitely did not finish the reward track for it. Zombies aren't really my thing. But I will say that the Halloween event that we got because of that event was awesome, and I liked that a lot more. Now, comparing it to the Mecha event, probably a more fair comparison, because the Mecha event was PvP, this is PvP, the zombie event was PvE. Match to match, this feels pretty good, but I think the mechs were cooler, and I feel like for an average player, I feel like the mechs were probably a more rewarding experience gameplay-wise. And what I mean by that is, all you had to do was get like a couple of decent lives, even if you weren't very good at the game, and you would get a mech. And then the mechs were sick, and then you could just go to town with them. It really felt like a reward for doing well. Obviously, the better you were, the faster you could get in a mech, so on and so forth. Like, a lot of the time, I would get in a mech, and then I would just be in mechs for the rest of the game. And, I don't know, it was a cool event. They did preset your lineups, which I feel like they had to do for it, but it would have been nice to have some level of customization. Whereas with this, obviously there's no customization because it's gun game, and that's fine. This definitely provided like a fast-paced, entertaining game type. I would say I probably played this about as much as the mech event. And then there's the modern event, which I think was cool, but I just don't remember it that well. Like, I've gone back and played it again, because you can go and play the mech event or the old school, like, modern event with, the private, or they're not private, but like custom servers. But like, back in the day, I thought it was cool. I feel like this is probably about even with the mech event for me. I feel like people who like arena shooters probably like this a lot more than the mech event, and I feel like the mech event is more authentic to your stereotypical enlisted experience, which might be more palatable for most people, because essentially all it was an alt history mech event that played the same way as a normal enlisted game does. Whereas this is like very at odds with enlisted. Like, most enlisted games play like a big grand battle, and this is like a small arena deathmatch. Which is cool. It's good to see them experimenting, it's good to see them trying other things. It would have been really cool to be able to earn some of the soldiers, like appearance-wise from this, the way that we could with the Halloween event. And the weapon rewards are really interesting. I'll probably do a separate video specifically talking about the weapons, because I want to compare them to some of their similar BR things. But let me know what you think down below. Did you enjoy this event? I feel like a lot of people probably are going to look at this event like it's a miss, but I feel like it's been fun. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's the greatest thing ever. Like, I know that there are a lot of people that really enjoyed the zombie event, And like I said, I really enjoyed the mech event. I probably rate the mech event personally higher than this, but this is at least an event that I've gotten on and like played every day, and like I've wanted to play it every day, and like winning in it feels really good. Losing not so much, because like, sometimes. So actually, let's talk about that. Like wins and losses. In my experience, my losses usually come from getting hung up on one of the early weapons. Like normally I can get off the pistol and the rifle pretty quickly, but you know sometimes you get bad luck, sometimes you get a bad spawn, or you get a number of bad spawns, and it takes, I don't know, a little bit longer to get off the pistol and the rifle. I feel like sometimes it can be difficult to come back. Like, for me, it's easy to come back on the Mass 38 and the Thompson and the MG42, but I have a really hard time with the blunderbuss and with the flamethrower. So if I get behind early, sometimes I stay behind because of the blunderbuss and the flamethrower. So the blunderbuss feels very, very RNG to me. Like there are times where you can be arm's length from somebody, shoot them with it, and it just doesn't kill them. And then there are times when you shoot somebody from a block down the street and it just kills them. And like these can be situations where you see them spawn, so you know they're at full health. Likewise with the flamethrower, I'm not sure if it's like a server tick rate issue or a lag issue or what, but sometimes, and it's not just me, it's like me, Josh, Ice, we all kind of discussed this. You'll shoot the flamethrower at somebody, and sometimes they'll just instantly die, and then other times they'll sit there and burn for a little while, and the only thing I can come up with is it's some sort of like tick rate issue, or where like the damage doesn't get applied right away, or sometimes it like catches the tick right as it happens and it just applies. Again, this is just spitballing from us for why it happens, but it just feels inconsistent. Now, as to why I get stuck on it, it's because it's kind of short range, and there are certain instances where it's a huge advantage. Like, if you're running into blunderbusses, or double barrel shotguns, or things of that nature, it can be really, really good. But if you're running into a bunch of people who are on the Thompson, or the RD-44, or the Mass 38, or the rifle, you know, any of the longer ranged weapons, the MG42, then it can be very difficult to get close enough, especially if you're only catching people from behind and you're trying to run after them. But yeah, I don't know, it's been fun. Generally, if you're not on the native, when the leader is, there's not a whole lot of chance of coming back. Like, I had a great game the other day where I was down by like 2 kills. We were on the French Industrial map, and I came up the stairs into the office area on the 3rd floor, and he was on the club, and he was running at a guy, and I came upstairs, killed him, and that got me, because like I said, I was down like 1 kill. That got me from the native to the club, and then I was able to bonk the guy that he had been trying to kill, and that got me the win. But generally speaking, I feel like the club is like, it's deceptively good, because I think a lot of the maps are close enough quarters, and the spawns are such that it's very easy to get the flank or right behind somebody and just hit them with it. So it makes it very difficult for somebody who's down to come back if somebody's already on the native. So basically, if you want a competitive game where it's really like down to the wire, you need like 2 or 3 people to be on the native at the same time. Otherwise, I feel like whoever gets there first, they pretty much have the game in the bag at that point. I think if I had designed it, I probably would have changed the weapon order a little bit because of that. To make like the last 2 to 3 weapons the most cumbersome and difficult. Like, I probably would have put the blunderbuss towards the end. I know the double barrel's towards the end, but the double barrel I actually think is really good. Because with both barrels, you can actually kill people from much further away than you would initially expect to be able to. I think the bazooka's in a good spot, the RD-44 is in a good spot, because the RD can let you catch up. The energy gun, I actually like a lot. I think it's a really cool weapon. The projectiles are a little bit slow. Sometimes the damage doesn't feel like it applies when it should. And I'm not sure if that's because the fire rate is different than what it looks like, or if it's just something with the way the splash damage works. I'm not sure, but generally speaking, I think it's a cool gun and it's fun to use. Very, like, reminiscent of Doom, like the old school Dooms. So I think those are in good spots. The bazooka's in a pretty good spot. I just don't think that the Winchester should be the second to last weapon, because I think it's really, really easy to get through the Winchester. Um, like, it fires very quickly. It doesn't do a ton of damage for a rifle, but because of its fire rate, you can get, like, 3 kills very, very fast in close quarters with it. So, you can get 4, but before you're kind of pushing the ammo. You really have to, like, hit all of your shots if you're going to do that. Because you need probably 2 to 3 shots for everybody that you shoot at, and it holds, like, 10 shots. So, let me know what you think down below. Have you had a good time with this event? There's still 6 days left, so, you know, if you don't have what you want to get out of it, there's still plenty of time to knock it out. As per usual, get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.